Welcome to the Mild Opinion Podcast. I'm Logan.
And I'm Luke.
And today we're going to be talking about another episode of I Can't Stand It, which is where we just go over some things about movies, TV shows, whatever, that kind of bother us a little bit. Just random things here or there. Would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I will start us off. So this is something I've seen only twice, but it really irritated me. Is I in general like when we go to a movie and I like watching previews because I'm like, okay, like, yeah, I can see that. I'm excited for that. It kind of gets me like hyped up ahead of time. But I can't stand it that I've now seen like car commercials. And I think it's like, I'm not sure exactly what car brand it was, but I was sitting there and I was like, why is it the like second to last trailer I'm seeing is a car commercial in a movie theater? And I'm like, I can watch a sporting event and see a car commercial and I'm like, all right, yeah, like this is like the perfect vibe and stuff for this. But I'm like, for a car commercial in a movie theater, it just completely like takes me out of the fact that I'm at a movie, and it kind of made me it just put me off. It just really, I was not a fan of that.
Yeah. Well, I know what you're talking about, too, because it happened in both Superman and Fantastic Four when we went to see him. And it's just like, yeah, here you go. Here's all of the, previews and trailers for, like, the movies coming out or whatever, yada, yada, yada. Then, boom, here's a random truck commercial. And then here's another, trailer or preview. And then the movie starts, and you're like, well, why is that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, which I understand, like, oh, yeah, they probably paid AMC or whoever for, like, that, like, ad space. But I'm just like, I don't, why is that here? Not another movie trailer that's coming out or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, stuff that's, like, normal. It's supposed to be here.
Yeah, and another thing, too, is it just, like, as a car commercial instead of a trailer. Like, I feel like trailers are so much supposed to just be like, this is the trailer for the movie. It's not necessarily like a commercial, because a lot of times when there's a trailer that's like put on the commercial, it's not like the trailer. It's like a TV spot or something. That is literally just like, and I don't remember what brand it was exactly, but like it just starts off as like the cheap Grand Cherokee, like, and it's just a truck driving through a bunch of mountains and stuff. It just bothered me, and yeah, it is paired with like the biggest trailers because I feel like they kind of try and push those to the end. And I think it was with Superman, it's literally like all the main trailers, a truck commercial, and then it's like the Odyssey, and then it's like movie, and it's just weird.
Well, also another thing that I don't necessarily like about that is just I don't want that to be a thing that starts happening more. You know what I mean? Like, it starts with like one random car trailer in between the trailers,
and then it'll be like an Arby's commercial.
Yeah, like that's what I don't want. Like, I don't want it to be one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, here's all of like the movie trailers and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden it starts going from less movie trailers to more, a McDonald's ad beforehand or two car commercials beforehand. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that to be a trend that gains traction and popularity.
Yeah. Well, pass the ball over to you. Do you have something you cannot stand?
I do, and this was something that I noticed recently on social media, especially because of, Fantastic Four and Superman, both huge superhero movies coming out at around the same time. A lot of people were making posts on social media and stuff, like comparing the two and all that, which, whatever, I know that's what happens, you know what I mean? It's happened always with superhero movies and stuff like that. You compare the recent ones and yada, yada, yada. Understandable. It always happens, even though I'm not too fond of that, but whatever. But what I cannot stand is, as I was looking in the comments, I seen people comparing the two, and there were people who were like hating on like Marvel just solely because they're like, oh yeah, Fantastic Four wasn't a bad movie, but I think Superman was better just because it feels like Marvel is just pushing out more movies because they want money. And I'm like, well, that's the whole name of the game. That's the business.
Yeah. Well, also, too, like with Marvel in that regard, like they've kind of like taken a step back a little bit, especially like now after Fantastic Four, like movie wise, that's it for over a year. I think it's a year and a half now.
Yeah.
And that's like, so can you even blame them too? Because for the longest time, these were giant moneymakers, and they are still like giant moneymakers. These properties and stuff in general. I hate to say it, or I don't hate to say it actually. I love to say this. There's never gonna be a stop to Marvel movies. They're just gonna keep being like, all right, here's like the next gen,
Mm-hmm.
and then whenever it gets too far along, they're gonna be like, all right, let's start from square one. It's gonna be kind of like I guess like the James Bond effect of like let's cast the next it's like Batman too. Just like there's always gonna be the next one, you know.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is like I understand why some people feel that way about Marvel, just because after like the Infinity Saga and all that, there was quite a bit of random slop that Marvel was just putting out that a lot of people didn't really care for and all that. And I get it. It kind of got exhausting the way that they were putting out a bunch of shows and stuff all around the same time, and a lot of it wasn't very good. But to go out and just be like, oh yeah, the movie itself, the movie in question wasn't that bad, but since it's Marvel, I don't like it because it just feels like they're pushing out more stuff. I'm like, well, that doesn't even make sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's not about the movie, that's about the company. You can't give a review on a movie if you're giving it a negative review because of your frustrations with like the company, not the movie itself. Well, and the other thing too is like nothing against Superman or anything like that. Like if you liked Superman better than you like Fantastic Four, like that's perfectly fine. But also just a lot of people when they were comparing the two of them and saying stuff like that about like Marvel and all that, they're saying like, yeah, it just felt like Superman was like kind of like its own thing, all that, which I get it, but also it's the first, I guess, movie of like the DC reboot.
Yeah.
So like it's the only one that's out right now, but it will also eventually turn into what Marvel is now if everything goes right. They're planning on doing a whole DC universe.
Yeah. And also just like in general with this stuff, like it's not like these are random comic book characters that they're just like extending into infinity. These are like characters that have been around for like years and years and years that like one by one they're going to keep introducing them and being like this character's never had their own movie or had a movie done right or whatever. And for so many people, like there are people who like revolve their identities and like childhoods and stuff around like a character from like Star Wars, Marvel, DC, all this stuff. Like it's not just coincidental that it's Marvel, it's also like all of these characters each have their own fan base. So there is no reason Marvel as a whole cannot be making these movies, especially if they do a good job and really knock some of them out of the park. Like there's no downside to that, like other than, it every now and then it kind of just like you'll have one or two that are just like, what the heck was that? But yeah, I don't see exactly what that is.
Yeah, well, and this doesn't even have to really do with like just like Marvel and DC or Fantastic Four or Superman, whatever. That was just the instance that I saw that really made me think about it and be like, wow, like that was kind of stupid. But when it comes to like movies in general, like any movies, whatever, if you are going out of your way to put out your opinion on like a new movie or TV show or something like that, like if you don't like the company or like whoever's like the director, like whatever, something else besides just like the movie review, if you like just hate, whatever else is associated with it, that's not part of the movie review. You know what I mean? Like you can't put your 2 cents in on something like a movie or something like that if you just despise every other aspect of it. Like the movie itself is what, what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Everything else that's not the movie and the story and the plot and the way that it was shot and like all that has nothing to do with a movie review.
Exactly.
So that's pretty much what I was getting at. Marvel and all that was just examples, I guess, what I saw. But that's what I can't stand is people putting their own personal feelings into movie reviews when it doesn't actually have to do with the movie itself.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day too, it's like, some of these movies it does seem like it will be like kind of like the industry was just like, how do we take all these properties and make a lot of money off of it? Like there are movies like that where it doesn't seem like it's really fully fleshed out to what it should be, but like in the case of the new like Superman especially, and like everything we've seen from the cast and stuff, they had like a blast doing this, and they like were really like, oh no, like Superman is like supposed to be like, you know, like Mr. Right and stuff like that, like we want to bring that back. And it's like, are they making money? Absolutely, they made a ton of money, but what do you expect from them? They're not going to be swinging for a short miss here. They're going for the fences.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have a next thing that I can't stand, and I just have a name I kind of came up with for this, but it's not like exclusive to them, and I don't have a huge problem with this right away because I think there's always going to be a place for this. But I call this the Stephen King phenomenon, and I say that because there's been a lot of Stephen King stuff, like movies and stuff coming out recently, and also the man is still writing books. God bless him. So like, there's gonna be like years and years and years of stuff where people can be like, oh, let's make a movie out of a Stephen King thing. But it's a thing now where I feel like there's so many Stephen King movies that keep coming out where I'm like, it's kind of like turned my eye towards a lot of other stuff that I've been seeing recently where it's like, oh, that's actually a book. And I don't have a problem with this yet, but I can see it being a problematic thing where like the idea that if something is a book then it also has to be a good movie, I think is a little like dangerous, because that can turn out some real like sloppy projects if people are like, oh my, if it gets to a point where people are like, oh my gosh, Stephen King is coming out with this new book and they're already working on the movie for it. So
yeah,
that's less of like something I can't stand, but more of something I have like a inkling of a concern about in the industry at the moment.
Yeah, well, and I agree. Like, I feel like it's one of those things, like, you can't necessarily hate it, because there's been a lot of great movies and, like, films and series and franchises and stuff that were adapted from books and, like, old stories and stuff like that, which, and that's fine, you know what I mean? Of course, there's a lot of famous stories that people know and love that have been made into movies and all that. But it just feels like a lot of times, like, there's just, like, random stuff that no one's ever heard of that they're like, yeah, this is now a movie. And it comes out and it's terrible because, well, kind of, there's a reason nobody's really heard of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nobody read that book, and now there's just a movie about it. So, I feel like, and another thing, too, is, and this is another thing, I guess, that we can throw into some of the stuff that I can't stand, is I feel like nowadays, with like how high budgets are with movies and this and that and the other, there's started to become a real lack of creativity in like movies and stuff. Like a lot of the newer stuff is just like based off of like other franchises, like old franchises and stuff like that, based off of books, based off of other things, because with how expensive movies are to make and stuff like that nowadays, it feels like a lot of studios and companies and directors and stuff are scared to do something that they feel like is kind of like risky. So they find things that are already popular and like, oh yeah, like let's just make a movie about that. It's like, and like the same thing with like kind of what you were talking about, just like the books and stuff, but as well as like I said, like other franchises and stuff like that. Like it's just a lack of creativity and a lack of fresh new ideas because of stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, I also like understand this, and this is the thing, I don't want them to stop making books into movies. I feel like there's like a certain kind of book that just fits becoming a movie better than others. So like Stephen King books in general and for a long time have been like very marketable as like movies and stuff like that. So it's not, I just called this like the Stephen King phenomenon because like he has a lot. But I think it's like Project Hail Mary coming out with like Ryan Gosling is also based on a book, and I've apparently heard this is like actually a very well known book. So I don't have any like recent things where it's like, oh, this is like some book that nobody knows what it is that they've made into a movie. So I guess this is thinking very long ways down the road that I feel like this would become more problematic for me. But I am kind of in that same boat with you of like, how come we can't make like original big movies anymore? It feels like, and not to say that there aren't those, because every now and then there's one that comes out and it's like, wow, this has not been done. It's right out of their mind, like Sinners. But yeah, it's just like a symptom of something that might become more problematic to me as
Yeah.
time goes by.
It just feels like, and I know people have been complaining about it, especially for like the past 5 years or whatever. But it just feels like it's another thing, another kind of just like symptom of you know Hollywood really lacking creativity and original
Yeah.
ideas,
Yeah.
which eventually, hopefully, we can maybe turn it around to start getting more interesting and original things. But like you said, there's nothing inherently wrong with good movies based off of good books and yada yada yada. There's always going to be a place for it,
Mm.
but not everything needs to be based off of something else or like a different source material.
Sure. Sure. All right. Well, do you have another thing that you cannot stand here?
Well, what do we got?
I got a few more I can throw out there if you want me to take the ball here.
Go ahead, do another one. I
Alright.
know you had some ideas.
Yeah, I got some. I've actually, as we've been sitting here talking about it, I've thought of some more where I was like, yeah, what was that? So this is one. There's one that actually like made me really like. I can't stand that. How was that not the case beforehand? Which is, and I think they got a lot of flack for this too. Is like the I don't know. I don't know if I'll like correctly say what organization it is, but like the Academy not making all of its judges for film awards watch all the movies that are up for nomination. Like, how does that work? Like, you go to a ballet, you go to like ballet performances or like, I don't know, some kind of like event with a judge, like a cooking show or something like that, and they don't like step out for like 2 of the 3 performances and then come back and are like, well, I only saw the first one and I kind of liked it, so like that one wins. Like, how was that not the case beforehand? And who is, number one, who are these people then that are on these judge panels? And number two, who is hiring them and being like, this guy is clearly qualified? They're not even watching all the movies. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's so annoying to me.
Yeah, well, and I feel like that's one of those things where it's like no one had even like questioned it because it's so like simple and obvious. You know what I mean? Like if you're on a panel of judges for movie awards, you watch every nominated movie. You know what I mean? Like that's not like a question of like, yeah, art. Like I would have never in a million years been like, oh yeah, these people who are in charge of these, great awards and all this stuff, they didn't even watch it. You know what I mean? Like that's that doesn't even sound real.
It's just like
what?
so common sense. It's like nominating it. Sure, that's one thing to like nominate something to be there, but like actually like picking the ones that are like best and then judging them. It should not be a thing where it's like, well, I haven't seen this one.
Yeah.
Like, that's
what do you mean you have? There's clearly like out of like 5 movies, you couldn't just sit down and watch them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's all of these that are nominated, but I've only seen 2 of them. What?
So those are the 2 I'm comparing. Yeah, that's like an insult to like the entire casts and crews of all the movies that got nominated, where the judges just didn't watch it. And it's like, so these people put in like a year of work over here on stuff they like are so passionate about, and you over here claiming to be so passionate to be in a position where you are judging these have not even watched them all.
Yeah.
How is that the case? How is that the case?
That makes no sense. That makes 0 sense whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, I'll go on to kind of two more things that like shake hands, can't stand at Wise. And we've talked about this before. I can't stand how this is specifically like a thing with Marvel movies right now, where it's been like a few years since some like major releases that were super popular and were like nothing but good reviews and stuff like that. And then now you have people coming out being like, actually that movie's just awful. Like, oh, I don't think that's cool. And it's not like, obviously, like, make your own opinion about this, but I feel like it's at a point where it's like people are just saying it to say these things, to like take a dump on this stuff and being like, no wonder that movie bombed. And it's like, it didn't bomb though. Like, it was kind of good for a reason. And the movie most recently that I've been seeing this with, I don't have a problem if you don't care for this movie, but like you gotta admit, like it's not a bad movie per se. Unless it's just 100% out your thing. Is Spider-Man No Way Home?
Mm.
I've seen people be like, "Yeah, this movie's is just trash," and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you at least can appreciate the fact that like this is three generation of Spider-Man. It has good fight scenes. It has a lot of like the themes of Spider-Man and like all of these characters who like literally three generations of people grew up with and have been like excited to see. Literally from before that first trailer for the movie, people were like, "Oh my gosh, are you seeing stuff about this?"
Yeah.
And then the movie came out, and I felt like it like still was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, everybody said it was awesome.
Yeah. So I guess this isn't a thing where it's like if you're not a Marvel fan, not a big Spider-Man fan, it's more understandable to say things like this. I feel like this has become a thing specifically with Marvel fans to be like, "Oh, Spider-Man No Way Home was not a good movie," and I'm like.
Yeah.
That movie actually made me really like Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and I still wouldn't say he's like my favorite of the three of them, but like it made me appreciate them all in their own way so much more to see them all like working well together. So that's one that's happened with. Another one, and this one is a little more understandable to me, is the what's it called? Deadpool and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that movie came out and it was everybody was kind of like, this movie's a little like it's a little bit of a mess.
Yeah.
But you have to admit that was like a fun movie. It still feels like a funny, goofy Deadpool, simple action kind of stuff. And since then, I've just seen people being like, "No, it's like bottom tier Marvel and stuff."
Yeah.
And I just don't understand that because I do not see it like that at all.
Yeah, well, I feel like a lot of times what ends up happening is people are like hyped for like these new movies and they go see it and they're like, "Oh yeah, like that was awesome." Like, "Oh yeah, me and my friends went to go see it. It was awesome." And then the charm of, I guess, like not even just like the charm, but like the hype as well of like it being a new movie and everyone's liking it kind of fades away. And then they're like, "All right, well now I'm ready to form, I guess a different opinion. You know what I mean? Now that no one else is talking about it, now I can just say whether I liked it or not," which is kind of weird. It's like overall, even as like a trend in like movies and stuff, it's like, well, why couldn't you just be honest about how you felt about it in the beginning? Which I know a lot of it's just like because of like hype and stuff like that. Like people fall to the hype, and that's fine. But also, it's just like it's one of those things too, where I feel like a lot of times it's like, well, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with not liking it. But if you really liked it, and then you also then went on, the hype went away, and now all of a sudden you don't like it. I'm like, well, is that one of those things where like you didn't ever like it, or like you thought about it more and now you don't like it, or like what about it is it now that you at first liked it, now you don't? Why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how did we get here?
And that kind of goes to with another thing I was going to say on here, which I can't stand, which is, this is kind of like the same thing, but it's more so with like recent release stuff, is people like seemingly choosing to this is kind of like what you were saying with like people being like, "Oh, this is Marvel industry slop." I'm like, dude, nobody's forcing you to like Marvel. Like, yeah, it's a pretty prominent like thing when it's like there's a new Marvel movie, but like you don't have to like it. There's plenty of people who don't like superhero stuff, and like nobody's forcing you to like it. It's something I've seen with Stranger Things too. I'm like, yes, it's been a long time that it's coming out. Yes, the kids are all a lot older now, and it seems like I think this is like supposed to be like only 4 years is the whole thing. But I'm like, you don't have to just hate this because it's popular. Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of people who are like, "No, I hate it, and like I'm not gonna watch it because everybody else does." And it's like, okay, good for you. Like we're not forcing you to like it, but don't just hate it because it's popular.
Yeah, like, oh, you're so different. Yeah. Well, and also I think that goes in part with like some of the stuff I said earlier that I can't stand. Is it's like, okay, you're not watching it, you don't like it. Why are you even commenting on it just to tell us that you don't like it and you're not gonna watch it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at that point, it's just like, you want to. It kind of is like that. Like, oh, okay, like you want to show everybody how different you are. Like, cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but especially if it's in like a like I guess like a place or discussion where like other people are talking about it and how they like it. Why are you putting your 2 cents in about how you don't like it just because other, you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah,
doesn't.
and
That
that's
just
not.
looks like bad. You know what I mean? Like it looks like either, well, for one, you're just being a hater, or
Yeah,
also, if not being a hater, you're just trying to like argue with people.
yeah.
Like why?
Well, yeah. I kind of at one point like I like don't I haven't watched all the like a thing I'll have like an example of this for is I haven't watched like all the Fast and Furious movies.
Mm.
I don't hate the Fast and Furious movies because other people love them, you know. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
have like a full formulated opinion about these movies, but I don't hate them just because they're popular. And it's like Marvel gets this, although Marvel would survive the hate anyway, and so will Stranger Things.
Yeah.
It's just a thing where it's like, especially with like the stuff you see on like TikTok and stuff, people will get so like aggressive towards each other and like be like, oh no, like anybody who likes this movie is like an idiot, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Like,
Why?
how about it? How about you can just say like, I didn't really care for it. If you wanna say something, and that's gonna be much more like people are like, oh okay, like I did, or like why
Yeah.
are you like instead it's gonna be like, you're an idiot if you like this movie. I don't
Yeah.
get that.
And I feel like, well, in this episode of I Can't Stand It, I feel like there's been a lot of talking about like people on like social media and their response to like movie discussion and stuff like that. I think that is like something that we should kind of bring up is like it's okay to like tell people like in like a movie discussion like, oh yeah, like I didn't like it for this reason, and then be like, oh well, I liked it because of this. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to agree with everybody on
Yeah,
their opinions, but also like you were saying, going on the internet and just being like, oh, I hated it, and if you like it, you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Like insulting people for what they like and stuff like that. That's just like why? Like that's terrible. Like
yeah,
why are you doing that?
yeah,
Or, you know, the other way, if you did like something, you're like, how can you not like it? You must be an idiot. You just don't understand the material and all that. You know what I mean? Like that's also not good because I see plenty of that too. It's just like in a like nice open discussion about like, oh, I didn't like it because of this. Oh, I can see your point. I did like it though for this, this, and this. And it's like, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, like that's fine.
yeah,
Like that's what I want from like a movie discussion. And like there's nothing wrong with having adverse opinions on stuff like that. Because when you put something out, I mean, like any content about like movies and stuff like that, it's open to discussion. That's just part
mm-hmm.
of it. You know what I mean?
That's
Just like us putting out like these podcasts and
that's
stuff.
why not every movie has an 100% or a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's
Like
that simple.
as if you put something out like that, it's open to discussion. But
Yeah,
also, there's no reason to be rude to each other because of the opinions that you have.
yeah,
If you have an opinion like that, that's that strong, what I mean, just keep it to yourself. There's no reason to, you know.
yeah.
That's what I can't stand. I can't stand
Can't
rude
stand
rude
that.
people on the internet. That's what it is.
Yeah. Last thing I'll throw in there that is like it's like a little I can't stand it. More of like a I slightly don't care for that than an I can't stand it.
Mm.
But this pertains mostly to like with the big releases recently like Superman, Fantastic Four. And I think this started with the new Jurassic World movie. Is what I heard is they started showing that like little teaser of the Odyssey, and I am saying this. I love Christopher Nolan.
Mm.
He's my favorite director. I'm a big fan. I don't like that over a year before the movie came out or comes out, they're already like trying to get out footage for it as quick as possible. Because that to me is like, yes, I know Christopher Nolan's like the biggest, like one of the biggest names in
Mm.
movies, but like I just think that's like a bit too much because the movie's not even like done.
Yeah.
It's not even done filming, I don't think. So that's
Yeah.
just kind of annoying to me. Because it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, they could like have some crazy thing happen and have to go reshoot that. So like, why are you showing me this already? You
Yeah.
know?
Well, and I kind of agree with that too, just because like, I don't think the movie's finished filming yet, and you're already putting out like this little teaser and stuff, which is fine. But also, it's like so far in advance that like you said, things could be subject to change and all that. And also, since there's not like a whole like entire trailer out for it yet, it's mostly just like the little teaser. and it's so far, like early. I've already seen that teaser 10 times.
Yeah.
Like 10 times, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to see this small two scene teaser of the movie for the next, year until it gets ready for it to come out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't, I also am just like, that takes away the opportunity for when that first, I mean, okay, the first trailer, first full trailer for this movie will drop at some point, and we'll be like, whoa, okay, like, here it all is. But imagine if, like, we didn't see this little teaser, and then it's like, oh my gosh, like, there's Tom Holland, there's John Bernthal, there's Matt Damon, like, all of that all at once would be much more satisfying to me than being like, oh, John Bernthal talking like Shane from The Walking Dead to Tom Holland crying in like a dinner hall, and then just footage of like Matt Damon passed out in the ocean.
Yeah, like.
Yeah. And it's just like, well, this is what we have done. So just so you know the movie's coming, it's like, like people will know this movie's coming, and they'll know what it is.
Yeah, well, and also, I mean, when you think about it, it's not like nobody's gonna. They don't need to push this out like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a Christopher Nolan movie. Even if you're not like super into movies, you know what I mean? Like, you'll know before it comes out that it's coming out. You don't need to be putting it out like, oh yeah, this is coming out over a year in advance. We've known that it was coming out since who knows how long, like 6 months before they even started filming it. You know what I mean? Like, we knew pretty much like the whole cast before they even started filming it. So it's like, people will know that it's coming out.
Yeah.
Even like if it's after you release the first full trailer and all that, either way, the word will get out. You don't have to be putting out
it's like
45-second teaser for a year and a half before the movie comes out.
Yeah. It's also like, it's kind of just like, I don't need an invitation to a party a year in advance.
Yeah.
Just like I don't need to see a trailer for a movie like even a year in advance, and this is like over a year. So that just to me was kind of like oh my gosh, like, it's Christopher Nolan and you all saw Oppenheimer, like, here's a little bit of what we have, and it was kind of like a little bit of nothing other than a few like establishing shots and kind of being like, here's a little bit of the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the last thing I'll say about that is that's also kind of like a slippery slope into something that we talked about on the last I Can't Stand It, with the trailers that play, like the full trailers that they have pushed out for way too long.
Way too far in advance.
So, like, now we have this little teaser way too early. So then eventually, does that mean that we're either, A, we're going to have to watch this stupid teaser for way too long, or we're going to have the trailer when it actually comes out for way too long? Either way, all of it's coming out way too early and staying out way too long.
Just over literally almost a year of John Bernthal just like tormenting, crying Tom Holland. But yeah, that, I think, unless you have anything more you can't stand.
I think that about does it.
These are some things we can't. I have more I can't stand than I.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
But yeah, these are some things we can't stand. Thank you for listening. We've been the Mile Opinion Podcast, and we'll see you next time.